So we have the announcement for the new 7-day login champion, and this is going to be Chronicler Adelyn. This is a Bannerlord legendary of sorts. We had her kit released today, and the crowd went mild because she's not that good of a champion, and that might be controversial. We also discovered that on the 14th day, I was exactly right. You're getting a 2-star soul for her, so nothing above a 3-star, nothing crazy like that. And honestly, I don't think anybody's going to end up using this champion. Let's go over her kit. A1 attacks one enemy, 50% chance of transferring one random debuff from her to the target. Also has a 50% chance of stealing one random buff from the target. Let me move myself real quick too so I'm not in the way of her skills here. There we go. A2 restores 25% of each ally's destroyed max HP, then heals all allies by 25% of this champion's max HP. A3, and that's on a 4-turn books to a 3-turn cooldown, by the way. A3 is a 5-turn books to a 3-turn, has a 100% chance of placing a sleep, also has a 100% chance of placing a decreased speed and a decreased attack. Debuffs placed by this skill will ignore any block debuffs buffed. Her passive, allies deal 3% more damage to targets for each debuff placed on them by this champion. And finally, the aura is increasing ally accuracy in all battles by 60%. That's it. This is a legendary. This is what we're getting for our 7-day login. This is a legendary. Now, I know what you're saying. This might help out early players. This might be good for people struggling in Sand Devil. This might be good for whatever it might be, right? You know what would be better? A Godseeker Aniri, who's literally just going to dwarf this champion in every single way possible. You know what else would be better? Muckstalker, a rare champion with a 2-turn sleep on a 2-turn cooldown, who does this champion's job, but better. You know what would be better? If we had a champion that would actually have some utility into the end game, or into the late game, or anything past the very early stages of the mid game, because this champion is literally, if this is your first ever legendary, maybe you can get some use out of her, but that is about it. This is trash. The A2 is terrible. Okay, in my opinion at least. This is all going to be my opinion. I'm not telling you guys what to do or to book her or not or what. I'm giving my opinion here and where my account. This is terrible. Put a champion in regen, put a champion in miracle heal, you have the same effect, right? That's all you need, especially if you're doing solo or duo strats, which are pretty much the way to go. They do say that they have a rework coming for Sand Devil. We'll see how that rework goes. They haven't really reworked much like other dungeons yet, so we'll have to see how they balance that and whatnot. She might be incredibly useful after, right? But again, A2 is just not good. Not good at all, right? Restoring 25% of each ally's destroyed max HP. So she's not someone like a Marichka who restores the destroyed max HP. She is restoring a percentage of the destroyed max HP on a legendary kit. On a legendary kit, okay? A3 places a sleep on one target for 1 turn. Muckstalker is a rare who places a sleep for 2 turns on a 2-turn cooldown. And that champion uses rare books. That champion is going to take a lot less resources to get them built out. Perceived weakness. Allies are dealing 3% more damage to targets for each debuff placed on them by this champion. What is she actually going to place? Well, she's going to place a decreased speed and a decreased attack. Okay, fair. 6% damage increase. 6%. You could make the argument that the 6% would be useful for getting through it quicker, but that's terrible. Let's just call it how it is. 6%, that is absolutely horrendous. It's not good. Okay, what would be better? Placing a decreased attack. Placing a weaken. She is placing debuffs on a single target. A single target. I could understand her only placing a decreased speed and decreased attack if this was an AoE. Asleep on everybody, decreased speed, decreased attack. Okay, now we're talking. Maybe we can use her in Hydra. Maybe we can use her in Doom Tower. Maybe we can get some use out of her. She's placing this on one person. One person. So you might think that she's going to be a Sand Devil's specialist, but again, you bring in a weaken, and that's infinitesimally better than this trash passive, right? You bring in a decreased defense, and that's way better than this trash passive. And so the other thing with this too, and I haven't heard anybody mention this yet in the talk about her, so her A2 is restoring 25% of their destroyed max HP, so a quarter of their destroyed max HP. Why is that important? Well, the Sand Devil has this nifty little passive that anytime he hits you, he's decreasing your max HP. What does that mean? Less max HP, heals aren't as big, so her heal, even healing them by 25% of her champion's max HP, is going to be a smaller heal. Why is that important? When you get to high levels of Sand Devil, it is incredibly hard to build teams that are straight up built around survival. When I was getting to stage 25 of Sand Devil, I had to bring in a Pythion and a Marichka and a Taurus. I was saying, yeah, brought in the Ford Taurus. No, but I had to bring in Taurus to actually get through it, and I had to basically just time it right so that my Pythion would revive Marichka anytime she went down. And so those champions are incredibly tanky, and they were still just getting wiped on the floor by the Sand Devil. So this champion and keep in mind, again, Marichka, that I compared this champion to, she restores all max HP, and we still couldn't survive a prolonged fight with the Sand Devil. What kind of team are you possibly going to place Chronicler in that's going to actually be able to sustain itself? And if you're placing her in the team that can sustain itself against high levels of Sand Devil, you already have the champions to get it done without her. So she is, by her own nature, not useful for the one area of the game that they said she should be a specialist. It just does not make any sense. Attacking one enemy has a 50% chance of placing a debuff from this champion to the target. What kind of debuffs does Sand Devil's place? Decreased speed. What is she already placing on her A3? Decreased speed. There's also a decreased accuracy, but as soon as he gets a turn, he's just going to cleanse that off anyway. So let's say you have a decreased speed on her and you have a decreased accuracy. You still only have a 50% chance of getting that decreased speed kicked over to the Sand Devil, right? I am so frustrated with this because this is going to be a trap for so many new players who see this and they're like, oh my god, a new login legendary. This must be a good champion. Let me put my very rare legendary books into this champion because she is a legendary. Obviously, it's going to be useful and I'll get use out of her. No, you won't. You might be able to use her for early game Sand Devil, but she's going to fall off so drastically in the end game that she's probably going to end up being a Vault Guardian. Let's think about other daily login champions we've had. We've had Wukong. We've had Rhonda. We've had UDK. We've had Rathalos Blademaster. All fantastic champions that were useful for early game and mid game and end game players, right? Who gets daily login champions? Everybody. Everybody who plays the game. So who should daily login champions benefit? It's not a trick question. Everybody. Everybody who plays the game. Am I going to use this champion on my not even end game account? No. Are you going to use this champion on your very early game account? Maybe. Is somebody else going to use this on their mid game account? Probably not. They're going to have better options. So this champion is just overall a massive miss, in my opinion. Again, in my opinion, and I will not be building her. I will not be booking her, and I will not be leveling her up, right? She's going to be sitting in my vault, maybe level her up to 50 just so I can get the champion training points, unless, and this is the only caveat to this entire video, and this is where I'll finish it off, unless the Sand Devil rework actually makes this a useful champion.